Turn your microphone on.
John.
It's on.
Yeah.
Can anyone hear us?
I can hear now, thanks.
We're just gonna talk kind of at Eric's laptop.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. The City and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting will now come to order. My name is Brian Caffrey. I'll be chairing these proceedings. I'll take a moment to explain how the Zoning Board of Appeals functions. The board is comprised of 5 members, 2 alternates. We have been appointed to serve the citizens of the City of Kingston, and we will perform this service to the best of our ability on a voluntary, unpaid basis. Other board members are, Joe's not here. I'm the chairman, Brian Cafferty. We have Donna Martin. Hi, Donna, say hello.
Donna Martin.
Mary Neubauer,
Mary Neubauer.
and our alternate, Anthony Campbell. There will be a period of public comment this evening after each variance request has been presented. This period is an opportunity for individuals to make a statement of opinion, not to engage in debate. Each speaker must state their name and address for the record. Speakers must be brief and to the point to allow everyone a chance to speak. Speakers must address the board as a whole, not individual members, and not other speakers or audience members. A professional demeanor is expected. So we only have one thing on the agenda, and we are going to go in immediately into executive session. Yeah. All right. Well, we opened the meeting. I don't need a motion to open the meeting. I just
We
need
need a motion for.
Let's do a motion to open the meeting, motion to minutes.
I've never made a motion to open. I just opened the meeting.
I think.
I'm
Okay.
Hello.
Good.
I'll second.
We've never done that, but okay.
We're gonna have an informational session after.
No, I understand that, but I,
Things and I'm gonna be providing certain things.
okay.
And then. That's gonna be-
Oh, you figured it.
I don't know. Where's the agenda? I don't even have. Do we have an agenda?
I didn't print it.
Thank you.
So the first order of business is the approval of the minutes from April 28, 2022. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
And I have a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There is no new business. So we'd be moving on to old business. And we have the owner applicant Mercedes Karabeck, is that correct?
Mercedes.
Okay.
And
So,
Mr. Chairman, it has come to mine as well as the building department's attention that the application that was submitted had incorrect R2 zone being listed with
Yes.
different setback requirements. So that we don't have to further delay or make her resubmit. I would just say that it would be acceptable to correct the application so that's an O2 and zone on the application, and the board may still basically entertain a motion to put this to a public hearing at the next meeting.
okay. We do know that the zone was incorrect. Nobody has a problem with that. We all understand. Okay, and that the setback requirements under this application are different than they were originally, not 5 feet, it's 12 feet. Okay.
Are we going, there was a request to go into executive session, are we
I
still
don't
doing that?
believe that'll be necessary. I do have the intention after the meeting is closed today to give you guys an informational presentation, with certain procedures. But as I said, I don't think there's any further reason to delay this application. I would just ask that the board entertain a motion to schedule this for a hearing, a public hearing.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion to schedule a public hearing for this?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And what is the next meeting date?
We have a special meeting at the end of the month for the Elion project, Churchill project. But that's pretty much a very extensive meeting. I wouldn't suggest to put it on for the second Thursday in June at a regular meeting.
That would be good, and I would just ask that
Good PM.
the time, well, 6 PM you started, so let's just say 6:15 for the actual public hearing on this specific matter.
What time, 6 PM?
6 PM for the regular meeting, but for this specific public hearing, 6:15.
The correction for the application should be published with the agenda for next month. Again, correction.
Yes, and I would
Here.
just say, if you, Eric, if you have a copy
Copy
of
of the agenda.
if you can just make sure that the ZBA file copy of the application has been corrected to reflect the proper zone.
You want me to correct the correction and have an initial?
Well, just make sure that is corrected, and then if you want to provide all of the ZBA members with just that front page that was corrected.
Should I just cross it out, initial?
Yeah, that might be.
Initial myself?
That is fine, and we do have the applicant here, correct? Could you just state for the record that you are present? All right, and you've been informed of the correction that's being made on the application with regard to the.
I mean, who's the person who put that there to begin, because it wasn't me. So who wrote that on the application? I didn't. I didn't fill it.
You're right on top of two zones, so it was a simple mistake.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't
I-
think it, I don't see how it's gonna make a difference.
The building department probably.
It just
determined
changes
what zone.
what basically
So let me
the
explain.
size of the variance that.
Let me explain
Yeah,
this.
no, 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 no.
The municipal program that the building department uses, which the planning department uses, and the home is listed on there as R2.
Okay.
Going back through the file, I was able to obtain documentation in previous certificate of compliance forms that it is actually back from 2000, 2011, 02. With that, I had to went onto the city website to the zoning map and magnified it. And actually, her neighbor's house if you're facing the house to the right is R2. She's the last house in the O2.
Right,
So it could
so
have
that's
been
how,
an error with the municipality when they were zooming in on the zoning map.
it's not uncommon for this to happen on boundaries. And your property is on a boundary, so it wasn't your mistake, you didn't put it
Oh, yeah,
there.
no, I know.
Okay,
But I just need to understand what, because I have three things. I have the fence, which is on a little in from my property line, which I know I am entitled to without a building permit. I have a continuous with my house, 6.5 by 6.5 mudroom. and that is framed and roofed, but not enclosed. And then the deck supports. And then the pergola, all three of which were on the original plan, and I don't understand, what part of this is, what are we talking about?
So your application has three things that are referred to that you're seeking variance for. And that's the deck, the mudroom, and the pergola. So those three things you're seeking the variance.
So, and I think also is, can we get photos of the whole deck?
And I
That you
actually
demoed?
thought that you had them, because I did provide them with the building permit, and also I provided them to the, whatever the historical, whatever it is. So I emailed them, I mean, I have copies of, I have the email, I can even just forward on again, but I did provide photos of everything.
All right, I have a question. We have pictures of all this stuff being built. How did it get built before the variances were issued?
We should have done a demolition permit. I think there was one for the garage, but not, there wasn't one for the deck or the board.
But
Okay.
I have an approved building permit for everything that is currently standing, and there was an inspection on December 2nd for the footings, for the mudroom, for the deck support, and for the pergola, and there was an inspection, they had a signed inspection before the cement was poured.
So what
But what
I,
happens is when new information is gathered that is not really truthful on the application, right? Then we find out we had to go back and do a stop work order. For example, you put on the application, you're doing the work yourself, and you signed a paper under perjury of law, and you had a professional contractor come in and do the work. That's one.
Okay.
a couple things, let's try to keep
Let's
this.
just,
let's
because I would
focus
like
on
to
what's-
focus on. the
But for the
things.
for the purposes of the hearing was scheduled. So prior to that hearing, and at the very least at that hearing, you should bring photographs, and that would be the time for you to be discussing with the board and basically presenting and making these arguments that you're talking right now about. And then at that time, it's open to the public, or other public members can comment on it.
We're gonna cover all this ground again. I just wanted to, you're here and you have any questions about what you need? Do you have any questions about what you need as far as the
I mean,
scheduled public hearing?
I have the photographs. I was having friends of mine do the deck. If I'm doing something wrong, I do not need to be perjuring myself. I'm certainly happy to get whatever insurance coverage I need to do. That, I don't believe, is why I'm here. I submitted a plan. I submitted improvements upon the plan before I was issued the permit. Then I was issued the permit and worked
Excuse me, I
again.
hate to, but again, the time for making the arguments is gonna be at the hearing
Okay,
right
I
now.
thought he was
If he asks you, if you have some questions as to what you need to get together for them.
Well,
So
I
do
guess
you know what
just-
information that you need to get together?
I mean,
It's,
I mean, my approved building permit, my submission and.
All
and
documents.
photos. Okay.
All documentation, photographs, if you have surveys of the property.
Submitted 10 copies of a survey that I spent
Yeah,
$2,000 on, so
okay,
yes.
so just to be clear, you know what you need to do and what you need to bring.
I mean, yeah, yes. I
Okay,
mean-
good, that's all I wanna, so I'm gonna make a motion.
Who can I call though if I do have another?
You call the building department. Okay. I'm gonna entertain a motion to adjourn.
Good.
Go ahead.
I
I'll
mean,
second.
adjourn.
I'll second. Quick on the motions. Move along.
Everyone's going to dinner now. All in favor?
Vibrating.
Not me. Not me.